Hello, how are we today? I welcome you to another Friday Tonic. This is Lang with Joes, and my name is Josephine. If you are joining me for the first time, this channel is an academy of knowledge economy. Every Tuesday, I release videos on core teachings in philosophy of religion, in theology, spiritual formation, and we do book reviews. But on Fridays like this, I talk on certain critical and germane issues that are very important to our lives, issues to benefit us, issues we can learn from, experiences that I have in the past that I'm sharing with people that will make us grow and achieve faster rate of certain things we are determining to do, because everything in life, one has to be determined. You must have the dream. You have to dream it. You have to have the vision to be able to gain whatever thing you want to gain. And this time around, I started this series about 2 Fridays ago. Today is the third one I'm talking about how we can harness or use the five senses for faster growth, faster achievement, how we can use it to get abundance, to get prosperity, good health, whatever we desire, whatever we perceive in our heart, whatever we want. Not using one of them, but combining the five senses together to be, because once we can, our mind can picture it, definitely we can get it. I've spoken to you about the sense of touch, and I've spoken to you about the sense of sight, seeing. I'm going to talk today about sense of hearing. I'm going to tell you, our ear, talk more about the content, the components of our ears and how we can use it along with the other senses for whatever we want. At the end of this series, I will elaborate more in using those five senses to gain the whole world if you want to. You can perceive the world from it. Whatever you desire in your heart, you are dreaming of, you should be able to touch it, you should be able to sense it, you should be able to see it, you should be able to, picture it physically in your mind. And then you have to be specific. The mind or our brain like details. Don't let's jungle things together. The same thing is like when you are praying, don't jungle your prayer. Be specific, give details. If you want something to be done properly for you, then you give details of the exact thing that you desire. Let's join along with Joes, and then we can continue. So for those just joining me, my name is Josephine. I'm your digital professor. And this channel is known as Language Joes, an academy of knowledge economy. I welcome you once again to Friday Tonic. Today I'll be talking on sense of hearing. And like I always say, it's not that I cannot continue to talk offhand without using PowerPoint presentation. But as a teacher, I love to have bullet points. I love you when you see exactly what I'm talking about, you understand me better. There will be no excuse about, what the professor said, I cannot hear it well. No, you can see it, you can read it yourself. That's why I love the PowerPoint presentations. So I'm going to ask you, if you so desire, to take your pen, to take your paper, and join me. This is the third one of the series on how to use our five senses for prosperity. Using the five basic human senses for spiritual, physical abundance and foster manifestation of prosperity. The senses are taste, sight, hearing, smell, and touch. I've spoken about the sense of touch. I've spoken about the sense of sight. I'm talking today about the sense of hearing. Hearing. This sense works via the complex labyrinth that is the human ear. I mean, this is what we see. Most importantly, everybody see this, what I'm touching now. So sound, when there is any sound, is funneled through the external ear and piped into the external auditory canal. Then sound waves reach the tympanic membrane, or what we call the eardrum. It is a thin sheet of connective tissue that vibrates when sound waves strike it. You can see, look at the picture I'm showing you now on this PowerPoint. Exactly what I'm talking about, that when there is sound, how it's funneled into the external ear, is piped into the external auditory canal, then the sound waves reach what we call the tympanic membrane, or what we call the eardrum, and which is a very thin sheet of connective tissue and that vibrates when sound waves strike it. The vibrations, travel to the middle ear via the auditory ossicles. There are three tiny bones called the malleus. I mean, some people might call them hammer. They are like hammer like this. They call them, they are called the malleus, which is the hammer, incus, the anvil, and stapes, which is the stirrup. There are three tiny bones, and they are named malleus, incus, and stapes. They vibrate. The stapes bone, in turn, pushes a structure called the oval window in and out, sending vibrations to the organ of Corti, according to the National Library of Medicine. I'm going through this for you to know how sound travels when we hear, how sound travels. And if any part of this thing I'm talking about, any of this membrane or this organ or this tiny bone is damaged or not functional, then hearing becomes a little bit difficult. Receptor organ of hearing. Look at the sac around here, which I've done. This spiral organ, you can see the spiral organ, is the receptor organ for hearing. Tiny ear cells in the organ of Corti translate the vibrations into electrical impulses. And the impulses then travel to the brain via sensory nerves. For those who have been following this my series, you know when I spoke about the sense of touch too. It vibrates and sends the impulse to the brain. The same thing with the sight. It sends into the brain. The same thing with the electrical impulses of hearing. So the same thing with the electrical pulses of hearing. It travels to the brain via the sensory nerves. The balance, when we talk about sense of hearing balance, look at this picture on the left. Like you are drawing. People retain their sense of balance because the eustachian tube, or what we call phagotympanic tube in the middle ear equalizes the air pressure in the middle ear. And with the air pressure in the atmosphere, according to the International Journal of Audiology, The vestibular complex is also essential for balance in the inner ear because it contains receptors for that regulate a sense of equilibrium. The inner ear is connected to the vestibulocochlear. When we say vestibulocochlear nerve, I mean, you don't need to get the names. I'm just saying this so that you know how sound travels, which carries sound and equilibrium information to the brain. Our brain is very important. All the five senses, when they work together through all their own little organs or functions, or what they portray, they sense images, sounds, impulses into the brain. Have you ever listened to a recording of your voice? For us to understand exactly what I'm saying, maybe you should take on your phone, press it, record it, and then play back to listen to the recording of your voice. At times when you listen, you will think, oh, this doesn't sound like me. This is not the way I'm talking. This is not the way I talk. It is because some qualities of your voice sound is different from those around you as you speak. The same will happen in your ears, but vibrations will also reach your eardrums via another route as the speech is being produced from within you. And that's why we talk about equilibrium balancing. So when your vocal cords make the noise, the vibrations travel up through your skull to reach your eardrums. As the waves move through bone, they stretch out more to become lower in pitch. If it's coming from high pitch, they try to become lower in little pitch. They stretch out more to become lower pitch. And combined with the external sound waves, the outcome is a voice with a slightly different tone from what others hear. I know I've spoken about a lot of scientific area, but it's necessary for you to know how sound waves travel, how sound waves travel to our ear drum, and that is when it gets to the brain, we can use it. Thank you for joining me today. Join me next Friday for another of the senses. Thank you.